everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Eclectica. Today, I have Mrs. Krishna Mukherjee with me. Well, she is a very fascinating personality, and some of you who have met her before, you know it very well. But who don't know her, let me introduce her to all of you. So, Ms. Krishna Mukherjee is a certified accent and pronunciation modification instructor from the Institute of Language and Phonology, which is situated in San Francisco in the United States. Currently, she is the only ILP certified American accent trainer in India and one of the very few internationally. She is a SQA certified soft skills coach from Image Consulting Business Institute, Bangalore. SQA stands for Scottish Quality Assurance. She lives in the US since last 22 years, but she has never left her passion. She always loves to come down to India, and she does this for the last 7 years so that she can help every Indian professional to speak the language of English in a better way and upgrade themselves in their professional life. So, doesn't end here. She has many more things to tell about her, and her past work experience is also very, very versatile. Well, she has worked for Reserve Bank of India, and after immigrating to the US, she worked there as a student finance as advisor, helping students in the US to finance college education. She is also a management degree holder. So I think if just keep speaking about her, then this session will end just by introducing herself. So I welcome you, ma'am, to this show of Eclectica, and thank you so much for accepting my invitation. So my first question is, how are you?
Yes, good evening, Dr. Gargi, and good evening to all the viewers. Yeah, I'm doing great, and especially when I'm with you, I always feel very good. And first and foremost, I would like to thank you for inviting me to this session and for giving me this opportunity to speak about my work to a larger audience. And I understand today is your beloved father, late Dr. Kamalesh Roy's birthday. Today is 11th of July. I would like to offer my deepest regards to him. And I would like to say just one sentence about your father today, because it's his birthday, that if I were to describe him in one sentence, I would say this, that he was a great human being. And I was very privileged to spend my childhood and a large portion of my school days with and around him. And today I have very fond memories of those days. So on that note, let's start. And I would also like to say, may his soul rest in peace wherever he is today.
Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful addition and sharing your experience with my dad. And yes, as you know, that he is my hero, and whatever I do is just not only about my passion, but I just try to follow his ethics and his ideas, with which he led his life. And I know that you are a very dear person to him. So I think this is the right day that I got you in, and no one else could best fit into Eclectica on my dad's birthday. So
I feel very honored.
Thank you.
I feel very honored.
So
thank you.
So, ma'am, I would like to know something about English speaking, and I am sure that by hearing this session, many people who are listening to us or will be listening later on would definitely learn many things from you. So, my first question is that, ma'am, like for example, we are Indians, right? And we speak English. So, English is not our mother tongue. So most of the times, like in different regions of India, we see that we do speak English, but we really have a regional effect. I mean, regional language effect. So my first question would be that what exactly is this? What is meant by this English accent? And the second question together, I will ask you, what is mother tongue influence, or in short, we keep hearing this word MTI. So if you just can explain.
Sure, Gargi. I would love to explain and talk about accent training. First of all, English speaking and English accent are two different things. So when you go for English coaching, accent coaching, you already have to know the language. Right. So learning the language, the grammar and vocabulary is separate learning from accent training. That's the first thing. So you already have to know English. So your first question was, what is accent? Now, every language has its own music, its own rhythm, and its own speaking pattern. So from early childhood, when we start speaking our mother tongue, that gets ingrained in us, the speaking pattern of our mother tongue. So at a later stage, when we learn another language, in this case, we will focus only on English. So at a later stage of our life, when we learn another language, this speaking pattern of our mother tongue interferes with the sounds and pronunciation of the new language. So what we do, we conveniently use our mother tongue pronunciation, our mother tongue rhythm, our mother tongue's music and speaking pattern. We use the same thing for the English language, when we speak the English language. So that is the time when you get an accented English. And that is what is known as mother tongue influence, when you speak English the way you would speak your mother tongue. I'll explain this with an example. Let's look at the sentence like, what is your name? Okay, this is a very common way of asking in English in India or maybe in other parts of the world. What is your name? And or what is your name? Okay. Now, grammatically, that's a perfect sentence. Your English is perfect. There is no error there. But from accent point of view, you made several errors. I'll explain. What are they? Say the first word, what. You said, we said, I said, or like, what. Okay? From accent point of view, you're supposed to round your mouth for the W pronunciation. So it is not what. If you watch my lips, it's not what. It is what.
Okay.
What. I move on to the second word. I said ij. Now, many Indians pronounce the word that way.
Yeah.
Now, it's very interesting to note one point here. The spelling of is is.
Right.
So I used the sound of letter J for it. So I made it ij. Okay? But the real and actual pronunciation of that S is not is. It is. So that is the sound of the letter Z or Z. So the correct pronunciation of that word is, not ij or not is. Okay? Move on to the third word. Your. Right? For the sound R, you probably heard my tongue flipping, or it is vibrating. Your. Right? It's a very common way of speaking in India. Now, for the sound R, your tongue should not vibrate. It will not vibrate. Certain languages in Europe, they do have the trill R. We call it the trill sound, where the tongue vibrates. Say, for example, I can give you a very good example. I'm sure many of you have watched the movie Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, where there's a song by the name Senorita.
Yes, yes.
Senorita. So there the tongue vibrates. But in English, there is no trill R. It is R, not, so it is your. What is your? It's not what is your, right? So R in English is retroflexive and approximate. You don't have to remember these names. So when I do my accent coaching, I do mention these words for better understanding. I'll move on to the next word. You said nim, right? Or I said nim. That again is wrong or incorrect pronunciation because it is not nim, it is name, as if the spelling is N-A-I-M-E and there is a hidden sound of I there.
All right.
So a native English speaker whose mother tongue is English, they will say name, game, tame, fame. They don't say name, game, fame, tame, no. Okay? So that is a vowel pronunciation sound. And so I messed up all the sounds in that question. Now there is another error from accent point of view that I made, and that is with the intonation. I spoke it the same way as I would ask in my mother tongue. Say, for example, in Hindi, Aapka naam kya hai? What is your name? No. In English, the speaking pattern should have been, what is your name? Do you hear the difference?
Yes. Yes.
So just in one small sentence, you made so many errors from accent point of view. Another example that I can give you, the second example, I'm a student of photography. I'm a student of photography. There, you did not make any mistakes with the sound production, but you made mistake with intonation and syllable stress. In our mother tongue, we don't have anything called syllable stress.
Yeah.
Let me take the example of the word zindagi. There are three parts in that word, zindagi.
Right.
In childhood, we were never told in school that you have to stress on the first syllable, zindagi.
Correct.
Or you have to stress on the second part, zindagi. Or you have to stress on the third part, zindagi. No, we don't have that syllable stress. But in English, it is a very important part of your accent training that you know which syllable to stress, because every English word has one syllable stress. You have to learn that in the accent coaching class. So the right way to say that sentence would have been, I am a student of photography.
All right.
Earlier I said I'm a student of photography, which was very monotonous, and it helps you to get rid of the monotony as well. So that is accent and mother tongue influence when you speak English like your mother tongue.
I mean, that was really nicely explained, and now I am getting nervous because then I am just getting conscious. Okay, I'm also speaking in English, so
I'm there for you.
Okay, so ma'am, can we actually get rid of this accented English in our speech? Is it possible that we can get rid of this? Because the way you explained right now, it's very interesting, and I could very freshly demarcate the differences when you spoke the same sentence in the way it should be spoken and the way we generally speak it. So if you just tell us that whether we can actually get rid of this kind of accented English.
Sure, definitely, Dr. Gargi. See, there is no such thing as bad accent. At least I don't consider anyone to have a bad accent.
Right.
But the degree to which your English is influenced by your mother tongue, that can be reduced.
Correct.
So when when the degree of your mother tongue influence on your English speech is very high, we say he or she has a very thick accent.
Correct.
When it is low, we say that person has a mild accent. So that degree can be changed. So
right.
if you have if there is a lot of mother tongue influence on your English speech, then we can definitely help that person to reduce that influence and learn to speak in a neutral accent,
Okay.
which is globally understood, and people will definitely understand you better.
Okay.
So yes, it can be changed.
Oh, that's wonderful to know. And I think there is a proper method that you just explained us within one sentence. So I'm sure there are many other things that needs to
Yes.
be learned. So
Yes,
my
definitely.
next question to you is that because you are an expert in this accent training, particularly as much as I know, you call these as global English accent. But I'm not going
Yes.
into that. But my question is that why is this accent training important? So I would like to ask you that.
Sure, it is extremely important for every person who uses English as medium of instruction.
Okay.
Right? Say you are understood better, when you speak in a proper accent, and it makes your work easier. People start respecting you more, and students who are taking exams such as TOEFL, IELTS, or GMAT, GRE, it helps them to score better, definitely. It's a huge help there. Then you perform better during interviews as well.
Correct.
Because if you know that your pronunciation is not that good, you usually would tend to stay away from the limelight. You're conscious of your speech, right? So once you correct that with proper coaching, you will become a better communicator, and it will help you to have better interpersonal relationship. You will do good at work, you will do good while you're traveling. When you are doing a presentation, it will help you to captivate your audience better. So it is extremely important for students, for IT professionals, for teachers, even for doctors who do a lot of presentations. It's very important.
So what do you actually do in this accent coaching? I would be very interested to know that. What exactly is done in this accent coaching?
Sure. First, I said the prerequisite is that you already have to know English.
Right.
Now, first I do an evaluation. And why that evaluation? Because, say, person one may have a problem in pronouncing certain sounds. Person B may not have the same problems. He or she may have problems in pronouncing some other sounds. Yet, for the third person, there may be certain other areas where he or she may need help. So sometimes I have found a lot of trainees and a lot of learners whose pronunciation is very good, but their intonation is not so good. So, or they speak English too fast.
Okay.
Right? Or they speak English with a closed mouth by barely moving their lips.
Okay.
So if I speak by not using my articulators properly and just by moving my lips, people will still understand me, but to them I will appear as if I'm mumbling.
Correct.
So English has a very open mouth position. So I work on that area. Their English is good, their pronunciation is good, but they sound as if they're mumbling. So there are a lot of areas to work on. So I identify those areas at the very onset of the training.
Okay.
Right? And then I work on correct sound production. For that, I use the International Phonetic Alphabet Chart, because that chart tells us the correct sound of different letters in English.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'll give you one example. Like F and V.
Mm-hmm.
You'll very often hear people say, I love you.
Right.
Instead of saying, I love you, they say, love,
yeah,
liu, right? For the sound V, they say vacation or father. Now, IPA chart tells us how these two sounds are to be produced. These two sounds are labiodental, meaning when you are producing these sounds, your upper teeth will have to press firmly on your lower lip. So labio means lip and dental means teeth. So it is F.
Okay.
It is father, not father. It is funny, not honey. It is love. Do you see how my upper teeth is touching my lower lip?
Correct.
So we get all these instructions from International Phonetic Alphabet Chart. That is the reason why I call my session Global English Accent.
Okay.
If you know the right sound from the international chart, not American chart or British chart or Australian chart, it is international. It is applicable to every English speaker.
Correct.
So I first tell them the correct sounds of different letters in English, and then I move on to help them with their intonation, then diphthong sounds, then vowel sounds, then syllable stress, word stress, pause, pitch, all that. And a lot more, in fact. It's a complete package.
Yeah, I understand, because I think that is an extensive thing that you actually customize, or I should say personalize it for the particular individual or group of individuals. And though you mentioned, ma'am, that like few of the like you mentioned some that who needs this particular accent training, but still I would like to understand that for whom would be this accent training be the most important thing, or it is kind of, if they take it up, it will really help them to upgrade themselves in the professional, in their own professional area. So if you just can throw some light on that aspect.
Sure. I already told that every student who boards a flight to go to a foreign country, especially US or England or Australia for their higher studies, it's a must for them. Okay. And I also do culture training, especially US culture training. So when you combine both, it really helps them to settle down faster in a foreign land, especially in the US. I'm a US citizen, so I know more about that country. I live in that country.
Correct.
And so for every student, it is a must. Students who are taking GRE, IELTS, and GMAT. There are lots of bank employees. I know State Bank of India, they do get foreign postings. So before boarding that flight, if they could take an accent training and culture training, that would be great. It will be easier for them to settle down. Every IT professional. Sometimes what happens, IT professionals in the mid-management level, say earlier they were handling the technical side of the work, but after promotion, they would have to probably go into sales or marketing, where they would need to speak more with their co-workers or counterparts in the US or in England or in Australia, or they would have to call and speak more with clients. Okay. It's a must-have for them. Okay. Then global service providers who speak on a regular basis with clients in the US or in England or in Australia or Canada, it's again a must-have for them. Then teachers in international schools and teachers in English medium schools, I feel they also should learn the accent, how English is to be spoken. And it's it's a different area of learning, separate from grammar and construction and spelling and vocabulary that we learn when we are learning the language.
Right.
Okay.
So I think
so all these people can benefit from this. They can benefit hugely from this.
And just to add on, I think, like, for example, in our profession, like in healthcare industry, I think public speaking is something that most of us do, whether we are academician or whether we go for speaking in the conferences. But I think that is one area where I personally feel that we really need to train ourselves because, as you said rightly in the beginning, that the correct pronunciation is not about the grammar, but the correct pronunciation would really help people to captivate the audience, or we can actually communicate or get in touch with the audience mentally more. I think so. And thank you, ma'am. It was a wonderful session with you, and it was fantastic having you here. And I think in future we will have more sessions with you, because I know that it is not only about English accent or culture training programs that you mentioned. I personally have attended your communication skill program, and I think many of my known allied professionals or students also have attended, and still they remember you. And I still remember that session. And I think we will come back. I'll surely have you once again here in Eclectica, so that we learn more from you on communication, because I think that is another very important area to focus on, because the world runs on communication, nothing but communication.
It does, yes. So, and thank you for reminding me that point. I forgot to mention about people who do public speaking in India. If you have the right accent, you are able to captivate your audience. You know, you're able to catch their attention instantly, and you do get a lot of respect for that. People start listening to you. Your speech becomes more interesting. You lose that monotony. You don't speak in that monotonous tone. Thank you for reminding me that point. I had actually forgot to mention that. So it is a must for everyone.
Yes. So, ma'am, thank you so much. And I'm really grateful to you for coming in this Eclectica show. And it was a wonderful time spent. So with that, I will end this conversation today here. So to all my viewers, if you have any questions, or if you really want to get in touch with ma'am, you can always write in the comments below the video, or you can ask me who are connected with me, or you can just Google ma'am's name and you will find her details. And she's a very humble person. So she has never mentioned about herself much. She will always be like this. It seems that she does a very little work, but it's not like that. So I think just with this conversation, you understood what kind of work she does. She actually changes your life, because the way we speak, the way we communicate, or it all depends on to how we are actually connecting to the person on the other side. So if you need any help on your English accent or communication, or even personality building, so you can always contact ma'am. And she also has a website called speakperfect.com. You can just visit that. And so with that, I end this episode of Eclectica, and I hope all of you enjoyed this session. And I will come back once again with another fascinating personality from some different genre of expertise. So with that, I bid a goodbye to you. Take care and stay safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Gargi. Thank you.